Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Let's start out today's video. We've got 40 balance changes which are due to come out maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, pretty soon. We've got a lot of nerfs which the community have been dying out for, so I'm glad they finally listened. I was hoping that a lot of these nerfs would have actually came like a week after the update, especially with all the changes with the gadget rework, new hyper charges being broken, etc. But I'm glad we're finally getting them now. So I'm not going to waste any time because 40, there's a lot of them to run through. So let's start off with the nerfs. Start off with the best brawler in the game, Hank. He's receiving a nerf to his hypercharge projectile homing. It's going to home in 50% less. I don't know what this looks like, but it's not going to be a guaranteed hit, especially in overtime every single time. So I'm glad they've took this nerf route because it's just way too broken. So his next on the nerf list, and he's getting a nerf to his speed zone gadget. So the decaying has been increased a lot. Now it's only going to last 10 seconds per speed zone turret instead of the normal 33 seconds, however long it took to decay. So this is going to get nerfed a lot. So the cooldown is getting nerfed, the decaying is going to go much faster, 100 per tick, which is beautiful. Mr. P is the top 3 brawler in the game, and he's receiving 2 nerfs. So the first nerf is with his hypercharge porter spawners. They are going to be decaying and only lasting for 10 seconds on the field. So this is a beautiful change because these porters were so annoying and so spammy, so quick. They also spawn too quickly as well, but that's not going to be the second nerf. The second nerf is going to be with the porter movement speed. So they're going to go from 1,400 to 1,300. So all you need to know is that's a 7% nerf. They're going to be just moving up the field a little bit slower, so it's going to give you more time to take them down, and they're also going to be decaying by the time they get to you. This is a beautiful change. B's gadget Rattled Hive is receiving a nerf. The cooldown is going from 17 seconds to 20 seconds, so just a 3-second cooldown nerf, which is definitely needed with B. The gadget spam was absolutely crazy. This will turn it down a bit. I'm still afraid it will still be really good. Both of Poco's gadgets are getting a nerf, and they definitely need it. So the first one is with Tuning Fork. The cooldown is going from 16 seconds to 20 seconds, so 4-second cooldown nerf, which is pretty good. You're not going to be spamming it out nowhere near as much. It's actually one of the longer cooldowns in the game, and the same is happening to Protective Tunes. So the cooldown is going from 11 seconds to 18 seconds. You might not think this is a good gadget on ladder when you play trophies against randoms, but in ranked, Protective Tunes was a massive problem. It counted way too much, so I'm really glad they're nerfing this to nearly double. Ollie is the top 3 brawler in the game, and he's receiving 2 nerfs as well. So his super charge rate is going from 5 basic attacks to 6 basic attacks, so pretty good. I think he just cycled it a little bit too frequently. Also, his gadget Regulate is getting a cooldown nerf from 17 seconds to 20 seconds. So that also means you're just going to get super less frequently. You're going to be able to combine your super and gadget less frequently as well. It's definitely a good nerf. He's still going to be at least around the 8. Berry is receiving a nerf to the healing he gets from his basic attack. Before, it would be 50% of his main attack damage. Now that's being nerfed to 40% of his main attack damage. This is definitely going to turn him down a lot. I actually like this change because if it was to change his super charge rate, that'd probably make him less fun, because the most fun thing about Berry is just throwing out his super and, you know, healing up your teammates a lot and cycling out like crazy. So he's just going to get a lot less healing. That means it's going to be a lot less oppressive, and you're going to be able to take down Berry healer compositions a lot easier. Melody's receiving a nerf to hyper charge rate. A hyper charge rate was 2.8 supers. Now it's getting nerfed to 4 supers. This is a fantastic change because Melody would get 2 free hyper charges in the game, especially good players, and just team wipe every single time. So you're probably only going to get 1, maybe 2 at a stretch hyper charges a game. A great nerf. Juju's gadget Elementalist is receiving a slight nerf. Her shield that she gets when you're just standing in the open, it was 50% damage reduction shield. I knew that was a crazy amount. It's going to get nerfed to 30% instead. So now you just can't tank everything. It's going to give you a little bit more tankiness, but 50% was wild. I can't believe it was even that. Janet is receiving a nerf to her hyper charge rate. Before, it only took her 2 supers to get a hyper charge, which was insane. Now it's going to be 2.5 supers. So I'm a little bit disappointed here. I wish it would have been at least around 3 supers to get. So I think Janet's still going to be a really strong brawler in the meta, at least 8. Gray's gadget Walking Cane is receiving a cooldown nerf. It's going from 18 seconds to 20 seconds. I feel like I could have been a little bit more harsh on this, maybe to 22 seconds, because in knockout it's just way too frequent. You're just getting like 3 or 4 of these gadgets still in a knockout round, in my opinion. A nerf is welcome though. Lou is receiving a nerf to his super charge rate. It's going from 8 hits to 9 hits, which is pretty good because he was just too good at shutting down tanks a lot of time. This will also nerf his hyper charge rate as well. Carl's gadget Heat Ejector is receiving a nerf. It's going from a 15-second cooldown to a 17-second cooldown. So especially in NA, Carl was just being spammed so much because of his heat injector. It is a really good gadget. It still will be. Only 2-second nerf, but definitely toned down a little bit. I would have liked to see maybe a damage nerf with this as well because it's just too strong. Leon's lollipop drop gadget is receiving a nerf as well, just like Stu's speed zone turret. It's going from decaying 50 HP per second to 100, I believe, so it will last only 10 seconds is what it's supposed to decay out, which is really good again because it was just too spammy and too good. Squeak's gadget wind up is receiving a cooldown nerf as well. It's going from 11 seconds to 14 seconds. You guys know Squeak, this gadget was just so incredibly strong. It was way too spammy, so nerfing it by 3 seconds is definitely going to be effective. Both of Meeple's gadgets are receiving a cooldown nerf. The first one, Mansions of Meeple, the dice gadget, is receiving a nerf from 20 seconds to 22 seconds, so only a couple of seconds. I don't think it's going to do all that much, but it easily is one of the best gadgets in the game. It's so toxic, so I like to see probably even a bigger nerf in the future. The next one is his Rage Quit gadget cooldown. It's going from 16 seconds to 18 seconds, so just a slight nerf because Meeple is becoming a really good brawler in the meta, and those gadgets are too toxic. Mortis is receiving a hypercharge rate nerf. It used to take him 2.5 supers to gain his hypercharge. Now it will take 3.3 supers, which is definitely a big nerf. Mortis's hypercharge is still fundamentally too strong. I'd like them to change something mechanically because it's still a purple button auto-killing machine, but now it will take him a lot longer to get this, so yeah, he's not going to be nowhere near as effective in this meta. Rose is receiving a nerf to her gadget Grow Light. The cooldown is going from 10 seconds to 13 seconds. I know that Rosa has basically not been used in competitive, but still as a gadget, this being so spammy and just creating every map in Snake Prairie too quickly, it's just still a little bit too strong, so they've toned it down a bit. Jean's gadget Vengeful Spirit is receiving a nerf. The cooldown is going from 16 seconds to 20 seconds. So again, on those more open maps, especially in Knockout and Bounty, you could just spam out these like crazy, and the damage would definitely rack up, and it's just all about stopping the enemy team from regenerating health. If you could just chip them down, spam this gadget, you're just going to get so much control on the map like Shooting Star, so I'm glad they nerfed this. Bell's gadget Nest Egg is receiving a cooldown nerf as well. It's going from 17 seconds to 20 seconds, so we highlighted this, I believe, when the gadget cooldowns were revealed, because with Nest Egg, especially, again, like Shooting Star, you could just spam so many gadgets down a single lane, and you just couldn't go down there because you're eventually going to walk into one of them, especially if you're losing the game. So I like this nerf, maybe even in the future a bigger nerf as well, but at least with 20 seconds you're only going to get down 5 or 6 of those gadgets in Bounty. Frank is receiving a nerf to his hypercharge rate. So before it used to take 2.5 supers to gain this, now it takes 3.3 supers. I'm really glad they changed this. I've been crying out for this since Frank got his hypercharge. It just charges too quickly, especially considering he's got the tank trait as well, so it's definitely going to turn him down a lot, and he's not just going to get purple button 3 times a game from receiving damage. Sam is receiving a nerf to his hypercharge rate already, so it used to take 2.5 supers to charge up fully, which is pretty hard to visualize with Sam, but you should get what I mean. It was pretty quick charging, and that's going to go all the way to 5 supers now to get his hypercharge. So just think this is the slowest charging hypercharge now in the game, theoretically. But with Sam, still this purple button is way too strong mechanically. I still feel like he's going to be good, but maybe it might kill him. Maybe he's going to get the Fang treatment immediately. Meg is receiving a nerf to her hypercharge rate. It's going from 2.5 supers to 2.8 supers. I agree with this, even though her hypercharge super isn't the greatest. I think she still cycled it a bit too fast, so I'm glad they kind of nerfed this a little bit here. And lastly, for the nerf list, we have Chester. So his hypercharge rate is going from 2.5 supers to 3.3 supers. Again, I definitely agree with this. I think the damage scaling with his hypercharge is absolutely bizarre. You can deal upwards of 10k damage, which is still too much in my opinion, but at least it's fun, and Chester mains are going to be eating good still, because you're going to be able to cycle a couple of hyper charges easily, even after this nerf. So now we're going to be finally moving on to the buffs. This update's seen so many nerfs because there's so many broken brawlers in the meta, but I'm glad they're still looking at some of the bad brawlers as well. So we're going to be starting off with Edgar. He's receiving a buff to both of his gadgets. The first one, Let's Fly cooldown, is going from 23 seconds to 21 seconds, and then Hardcore gadget as well is going from a cooldown of 19 seconds to 17 seconds. So 2-second cooldown buff on both of these. It's just going to make him a little bit more viable, because let's face it, Edgar was terrible because of his gadget change. I really like these both. Charlie is receiving a buff to her super charge rate. It's going from needing 7 hits to 6 hits. I actually like this, but at the same time, Charlie Super is very, very toxic. and I never really want to go back to a Charlie meta because of how good her super is. But let's face it, Charlie has been like D tier, F tier for the longest time now, so she needs a little bit of love, and this would definitely bring her a little bit in the meta. Brawler is receiving a buff to his hyper charge rate. Before, it used to take 2.8 supers to get this. Now it takes 2.2 supers to get, so only 20 hits now. I really like this change because I was surprised after looking at the data. Bo was picked maybe like 1 time in monthly finals, maybe 2 times, I think, actually in safe zone as well. But the hypercharge, I thought it would have been a lot better, so we're going to see a lot more Bo now. I think this could be underrated. Ems is receiving a buff to her hypercharge rate. Finally, you guys are realizing that Ems has been terrible at the meta for a very long time, okay? She's receiving a hypercharge rate buff from 3.3 supers to 2.5 supers. This is probably because Ems's hypercharge just sucks. It isn't that great. Now with only 2.5 supers, she's going to be able to defend herself a little bit better now from those assassins and just deal a bit more damage. I don't think it's going to be doing a whole lot, but it might make her a viable option in a few places. Mo is receiving a buff to his reload speed. So his reload speed in numbers is going from 2,000 to 1,500. All you need to know is that it's a 25% buff. This is really nice. I think this is going to be reverting one of his previous nerfs, or there's been so many nerfs with Mo, I can't even remember off the top of my head, but he needs a little bit of love. He's absolutely terrible, absolutely F tier, probably the worst brawler in the game before this buff. Let's see how he does now. Max is receiving a buff to her gadget, Sneaky Sneakers. So cooldown is going from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. So this gadget is literally the worst version of Finx's new gadget. I still don't think it's going to be any good, but maybe there might be some viability. We'll test it out. Shader is receiving a buff to his gadget Jump Scare, so the cooldown is going from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. This gadget mechanically, again, is just absolutely terrible. Even a cooldown buff isn't really going to help it out too much, in my opinion, because the other gadget is just way better in helping cycling his super. I hope they just rework this gadget in the future. Finx is receiving 2 buffs, and boy does he need it, because he's low-key an F-tier brawler in the meta right now. So his movement speed is going from 720 to 770, so I've not got the dev build. I believe this is going from normal to fast. Maybe, I don't know, it can't be very fast surely, but movement speed buff, which is pretty nice. And then his main attack reload is going from 1,600 to 1,300. Again, this is roughly a 19% buff to his reload speed, which is really good because, let's face it, Finx is absolutely unusable right now. I've used him a lot in ranked and I just never can seem to win. So I think it's going to be a lot better now. Tara is receiving a buff to her super charge rate. It's going from needing 11 cards to build up her super to only 10 cards. So just a 1 card difference. But that's all it could take, really, to make Tara a viable option in the meta. She's going to cycle everything much faster, much more effectively. This could be a sleeper one. So moving into the final balance change, we're going into Lola. Her hyper charge rate is being buffed from needing 4 supers to get, which I knew straight away would be terrible. It just wasn't good. It now needs 2.8 supers to charge her hyper charge. So this might be really good on those open maps. I still feel like it's not the best hyper charge, but at least it's something for those Lola mains because they've been craving for her to be anywhere close to the meta for a long time, right? So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. So I hope you enjoyed it. Again, the balance changes should be coming out for the next few days, hopefully with a maintenance. But as soon as they drop, make sure you're checking out this channel. Make sure you're subscribing because I'm going to be streaming like crazy trying to find out the meta. I'm going to be doing tier lists, etc. So you don't want to miss it. So yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. And I'll see you guys later.